It's been a long time since I've been waiting for it, and I've finally got it. Well, not this. I'm upgrading from the Gigabyte A320 chipset motherboard to the Asus TUF B450 Plus-Gaming motherboard. I've been eyeing this motherboard for over a year and a half, and man, am I excited for it. Now, don't get me wrong, the A320 motherboards are pretty great. However, it is a board with which you can't do much. Keeping that in mind, it is a type of motherboard that you would want to get if you're not going to overclock or do any type of intensive work with your PC. I don't mean that it's not capable of gaming or editing videos. I've been doing that all with this board for the last 2 years. But because it isn't that expensive, it is the type of motherboard that you would want to buy for an extreme budget entry-level build. It is great for doing office work if all you do is use MS Office and maybe browse the web for content. I had got this Gigabyte A320M-H for around 5,000 rupees, which at the time was a really good deal. However, keep in mind that prices are always subject to change in the market. At the moment, MD Computers are selling this for about 4,400 rupees, and you can check their website out for more details. One thing to note is that the A320 motherboards are Ryzen 3000 ready, which means that any Ryzen 3rd gen CPU can be used with this motherboard out of the box. So any AMD processor starting from the 3100 all the way up to the 3950 can be used with this motherboard. Though the pairing of the Ryzen 7 and 9 series with this motherboard would not really be great, it isn't recommended. Turning to the back of the box, there are some basic information that can be found about the motherboard. For one, it works with the SmartFan 5 software from Gigabyte, and it also has 2 hybrid fan connectors, which basically means that it can work with both 4-pin PWM fans and 3-pin DC fans. In terms of Ethernet connection, the board comes with the Realtek Gigabit LAN with C4 Speed Internet Accelerator software. They mention that they have high quality audio, but they don't mention that the audio software and hardware are from Realtek as well. What I do like is that it has an M.2 slot for connecting NVMe storage for your NVMe or PCI Express SSD drives. Anyways, let's check out the box and do the unboxing. The MRP that is found on the sticker of the box states that the board is around 13,250 rupees. However, you could buy this board for anywhere between 9,600 rupees to about 10,500 rupees via online stores and offline stores. As with the A320 motherboard, the B450 is also Ryzen 3000 ready, which saves you the hassle of updating your motherboard via BIOS flashing to be able to use any Ryzen 3rd gen CPU. In a sense, it's basically plug and play. Coming to the back of the box, you will find a plethora of information regarding the motherboard. Being TUF boards, there are some perks that are given to the customer. For example, we get the TUF gaming audio, which gives the user exclusive DTS custom for gaming headsets. It also has Aura Sync for all RGB lovers to connect their LED strips or RGB fans and control it from their software. And of course, being from the TUF series, we have the tried and tested military grade TUF components such as the TUF MOSFETs, the TUF capacitors, and the TUF chokes found on the board. Coming to the left side of the board, let's read in order of what is written as it goes. It supports all CPUs from AMD that run on the AM4 socket, such as the AMD Ryzen 2nd Gen, Ryzen with Vega graphics, Athlon with Vega graphics, and the Ryzen 1st generation processors. However, as the sticker on the front of the box states, this motherboard can run the AMD Ryzen 3rd generation processors without a problem. The chipset found on the board is the B450, as one would expect, of course. As for the DIMM slots, we have about 4 of them. Since this is an updated motherboard, despite what is written on the box, the board can run memory at a maximum of 128 GB in capacity, with its highest stable support for memory overclock being about 4400 MHz. You can check the official Asus website for more information on that. In terms of expansion slot, It has a single PCI Express 3.0 or 2.0 into 16 slot. It has a single PCI Express 2.0 into 16 slot, and it has 3 PCI Express 2.0 with 1 slot. Since it does support both the Ryzen and the Athlon APU processors, we can find an HDMI and a DVI-D port. These, however, will work only if you use the APU without a dedicated GPU. For storage, we can find a single M.2 socket with that has a different length supporting depending on the SSD that you would be using. There are also 6 SATA ports to connect the more traditional 3.5 and 2.5 inch drivers. As for the network LAN support, the board uses the Realtek 8111 Gigabit LAN controller, and for audio we can find the Realtek ALC 887 VD2 8-channel high definition audio codec. The USB connections that can be found on the board are of 2 USB 3.1 Gen 2 ports at the rear I/O, which runs at around 10 gigabytes per second. There are 5 USB 3.1 Gen 1 ports which run at 5 gigabytes per second that can be found on the board, 2 of which are found at mid-board for your front I/O, 2 of which are Type A ports found at the rear I/O, and 1 Type C port found at the back as well. We also have 6 USB 2.0 ports, of which 2 are at the back and 4 are found at mid-board. Well, enough of that, let's get on with the unboxing. As you can see, I have not opened the box yet. It is sealed, and I will be experiencing the unboxing alongside you. Well, let's get the motherboard out of the way and see what can be found in the box. There is the back I/O shield, not too fancy, no sticker on it or any paint. It is padded though, which is a nice change from the usual plain I/O shield that lower end motherboards supply. We have the screw for the M.2 SSD. We also have the user manual here, along with the DVD disc, some documents, some TUF series stickers to put on your cabinet, and a certificate of reliability with information on how the components are all tested. We also have 2 SATA cables, one of which has a right angle that can be used to connect your storage drives. We're going to take out the motherboard from its anti-static bag. You would generally want to keep the anti-static bag and everything that came with the motherboard, so that if you have to RMA it, or that, which basically means to take it to the service center for any repair work or just to get a replacement, you don't have any problem. And there you go. The board is black in color, and this is the first board that I have for myself that has a metal brace for the GPU. This is where the chipset is, and that's the heatsink over it. The VRM heatsinks are here, which aren't phenomenally great, but they get the job done. And there are a lot of connections for case fans and stuff. There are 4 DIMM slots for the system memory, the AM4 socket for the processor. That's where the chipset for the audio is. On the other end, we have 6 SATA ports. We have 6 SATA 3 ports, the 24-pin motherboard power socket. This board has an 8-pin power socket for the CPU, from which it draws its power. At the I/O, we have a PS2 socket, 2 USB 2.0s at the top, a DVI-D port, a USB Type-C port, the HDMI port, 2 USB 3.1 Gen 2 ports, 2 USB Gen 2 ports, the Realtek Ethernet port, and the audio ports. That brings an end to the unboxing. Let's skip to how the motherboard looks once it has been assembled with all the other parts for a PC. Well, that took me longer than expected. I kept running into problems with space and other cable management with my cabinet. I also had to remove my old optical drive which is why you see my third hard disk down there. I used to keep it on top of the DVD drive. Until I don't get a docking station, I'm going to have to leave it like this for now. Anyway, everything is done. Let's flip the switch on the PSU and see if anything happens. Lights. That's a good sign. I'm gonna hit the power button on the cabinet and let's see if the PC boots into Windows. Okay, everything is working. The fans are lit up. Let's check the monitor. It's posting and success. Well, I don't know how to do overclocking just yet. We'll learn that in some time. Sorry about not being able to show that to you guys. However, this is a great upgrade for me from my old Gigabyte A320 board, and I would recommend the TUF B450 motherboard to anyone any day. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have stayed around till this far into the video, do subscribe to my channel, leave a comment and like the video if you like it. I'm not really a tech channel, but hey, who knows, my channel is still young and let's see how things work out, and do check out my other videos. I'll see you guys later. Peace.